Hey everybody, it's Beth from Yoga and Reiki Bliss. This month in our classes, we've been focusing on the practice of mindfulness, and we've been looking at it through different lenses, including asana, movement, and breathing. And so I wanted to share with you today a movement practice that weaves in mindfulness through the lens of the breath and how the movement and the breath affect each other. So let's hop over on the mat. And if you have a blanket, that'd be a great tool to have. And if you can open up your blanket sort of wideish, that would work well. And I'm going to fold it in thirds, and you can do the same, or you could fold it in half, depending on how wide it is. And then I'm going to run this down the center of my yoga mat. And I'm going to use one of the edges. I'm going to fold it up and make it like a little pillow for my head. And then you can come to sit right in front of your blanket, maybe a little bit of space. And then from your lower back through your head, fully supported. It might be really lovely to step the feet wide and let the knees tent together and just allow your arms to come to rest on the ground. Here, friends, you'll just drop in really simply to your breath. And in these first few moments, really simply noticing when you breathe in and when you breathe out. Let your intention expand to include where you feel the breath in your body. So what moves when you inhale and what moves when you exhale? You can even begin to notice the rhythm and the quality of your breath. And it might be really interesting to notice what happens between the breaths. Are there momentary pauses? Does the breath flow one into the next? And even if that changes from breathing cycle to breathing cycle. And then some time in the next breath or two. On an exhale, let's go ahead and roll to one side. Come up just enough so you can flip your blanket somewhere off to the side and then return to your back, please. And as you return to your back, you can let your feet separate again wide, maybe to the sides of your mat. And then drop back into the rhythm of your breath. And as you exhale, go ahead and let your knees fall to the left, like a little windshield wiper. And then let your inhale breathe your knees back up. And let your exhale fall your knees to the right. So that's our basic movement. Letting the inhale bring the knees back up and beginning that exhale a split second before the movement happens. And then beginning your inhale a split second before you bring the knees back up. And so letting the breath initiate the movement and exploring that possibility of inhaling a moment before the knees come up, exhaling a moment before the knees fall. We'll go one more time to the right. Then we'll breathe the knees back to the center. And as you exhale, let your knees hug into your chest. And enjoy your breath here. And when you're ready to exhale, go ahead and roll over to one side. Feel your top hand on the earth. And use that hand for support. We're going to come out onto hands and knees. You're welcome to shift your blanket under your knees if you'd like. We'll come into a nice, easy little tabletop. You can organize your hands under your shoulders so you make the fronts of the shoulders over the wrist creases, your hands wide, so your collarbones feel spacious. Again, drop into the rhythm of your breath. And just like before, when you exhale, let that curl the tail downward and begin to round through your spine. And then let your inhale begin the movement into cow pose, that little tipping forward of the pelvis, that little back bend. And let's check each of those shapes in one more time, letting the exhale create this next rounding. And letting the inhale create your next cow, your next back bend. And then when you're ready to exhale, let that bring you back to neutral. Enjoy your breath in. And with your next exhale, we'll step the right foot forward. Go ahead and tuck your left toes under and lift your left knee into a lunge. And take a moment as you reach firmly back through your left heel and lengthen through the crown of your head to experience your breath in this shape. How does the movement affect the way you feel the breath? And when you're ready to exhale again, lower your back knee to the ground. And again, just pause and see if that changed the way you experience your breath. And then when you're ready to exhale, let's bring the right knee back underneath. Come back to your tabletop, a nice push of the earth away as you breathe in. And when you're ready to exhale, step your left foot forward. Tuck your right toes under, lift your right knee, and same idea again. Just pause and feel your breath in this shape. And then with your next exhale, lower your back knee down. And again, does this change the way you experience your breath? And when you're ready to exhale, bring your knee back underneath you. Again, tabletop, push the earth away. Full breath in. When you're ready to exhale, step your right foot forward again. Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee. And then let's just straighten through that right leg and walk around to the left, turning all your toes. And see if you can fold from your pelvis as much as you comfortably can. And when you can't tilt from your pelvis any further, let your spine have a little release over even your head. If the earth is far away, feel free to put some books or your blocks or even your blanket or even a chair under your hands so there's no feeling of force. I'd love for you to drop your attention into is the sensation of your breath in this shape. Where do you feel the breath? And with your next inhale, go ahead and walk back around to your right leg, to your back into the lunge. And organize your left leg back, so you're really pressing back through that heel. And then slide your right leg back to meet it. You're in a little plank pose. Get a nice feeling of pushing the ground away. And see if you can have the same sense of your legs reaching back, the crown of your head reaching forward. And in plank, can you breathe here? What's the quality of your breath like? Where do you notice the movement of your breath in this shape? And then with your next exhale, go ahead and lower your knees down. For a brief moment or two, drop into child's pose. Your knees together, your knees apart. Again, take the time to experience your breath. And with your inhale next, let that roll you on up. And then find your blanket again. And give it a little fold, maybe in half or 3/4. I'm going to fold mine in half and then in half again, make this little triangular kind of shape and sit right on I'm going to sit on the corner so there's room for my thigh bones to drop. And then outstretch your right leg off to the diagonal. With your heel on the ground, your kneecap pointing up, you can flex your ankle joint. And bend your left knee. And bring your heel as close towards your groin area as you can. If you need some support, feel free to put a pillow, a blanket, a block under that knee. And see if you can drop your pelvis a little hint forward. The pubic bones drop. You feel the ring of your pelvis very much upright, so not flung back. Your right hand can rest on your right shin, your left arm. Let's breathe it up. And we're going to go right over into a little side bend to the right. And just take a couple of breaths so you can experience your breath in this shape. And then you can play and see what would happen if you were to spiral even a little bit, the belly and the chest to the sky. Does that change the way you experience your breath here? And how about if you were to turn the belly and the chest down a little bit? So you just start to tune in to the way the shape of your body can influence your breath. And then what would serve you the best? Which of those three shapes? And then stay there and enjoy a couple more breaths. And give a light grounding through your legs and your sitting bones. Come all the way up. And then give yourself a moment just to pause and to enjoy your breath, noticing the way the breath on the left side feels versus the right side. And then we'll do a little change of the legs. The same shape, just other leg. Again, try to work to keep that kneecap up, toes reaching to the sky. Let's breathe your right arm up and make a little side bend to whatever extent the side is willing to curve on over. Just start with a couple of breaths with your chest pointed forward. And explore what happens, if anything, or what you notice if you turn your belly chest up even a little. And what happens if you turn your belly chest down even a little. And what would you enjoy on this side for these last couple of breaths? And then some time in the next breath or so, ground through your legs, your sitting bones, come all the way on up. And invite yourself, again, a moment to pause and to be with your breath. I hope that practice helped you feel a little more connected to your breath and certainly a little more connected to the present moment. Thank you so much for joining me here. I look forward to seeing you soon. Stay well. Namaste.